Welcome everybody. Today we're going to start laying down on the back, holding their knees and thighs into your chest. We are going to use today a block, a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block at home, I just took this kind of food box out. That something like that, something that's relatively hard, could work instead of a yoga block if you don't have one, and a belt. That could be any kind of belt. So starting by hugging the knees in, take 5 deep breaths here. So full deep in breath, and exhale, allow the body to fully relax on the mat. A couple of breaths like that. Fully inhale, exhale, draw the knees tighter into the chest. So we start engaging with the breath. On the inhale, the stomach moves up towards the thighs. On the exhale, the knees drawing tighter into your chest. One more, deep full in breath. Exhale, draw the knees into your chest. From there we hold on to the right knee and stretching the left leg away from you. So you want the left big toe pointing up, the heel pushing away, the right knee drawing tight into your chest at the same time as we relax shoulders, jaw, face. Holding it here, just holding in. You can always wriggle the knee a little side to side if you want to feel your way in around the hip. From there we open the leg out wide into a happy baby, half a happy baby position. You'll hold the outer edge of the foot, left hand on top of the thigh, the knee coming into your armpit. From there, the right leg placed on top of the left knee in number 4 shape with the legs. The right hand between the two thighs and pulling the left thigh in towards you. So here we should start feeling the right hip. So that's the area we're working into today, right hip and some core strength, pulling in tight. Relax your face, jaw, shoulders. From there, hug both knees into your chest. You could choose to rest on the mat like this, or lifting your head, lifting your shoulders, and stretching the hands to the front of the room. Once you're there, you want to lift the knees and the toes a little higher, curling up high, as if you're doing a sit-up. The knees above your hip. We're holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down to the mat. Hugging the left leg in. Same thing on this side. Wriggle the knee a little side to side. Relax your facial muscles. Then open the leg out with a bent knee, grabbing hold of the outer edge of the foot. Hand onto the little toe side, and then pulling down so that the knee moves down close to your armpit, sole of your foot pressing up. And then place the left foot on top of the knee, left hand between the two legs and hugging the right leg into your chest. Again, feeling that stretch on the left hip, lower back staying on the mat. And then from there, hugging both knees in again, hugging them in, choosing either to laying down on the mat or lifting yourself off the floor, nose coming close to the knees and stretching the hands forward. Move the knees a little bit more above your hips and lifting higher. We're holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hugging in and then rocking backwards and forwards and taking yourself up to sitting. If that's not comfortable, roll to the side and come up to sitting. Place this to the side, we won't use them to start with. Rolling over the legs and sitting down onto your shins, onto your calves and your heels. Hands on top of your thighs. So from here, you want to arch in the back on the in-breath, leaning the chest forward. Exhale, push into the hands to flatten the back. Inhale, arch in the back, press the chest forward, deep full in-breath. Exhale, press into the hands, drawing your lower ribs, navel in, till the lower back is flat. 2 more. Inhale, stretch forward like a cat stretch. Exhale, push into the hands, engaging your core as you flatten the back. 1 more. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, press into the hands, draw the chin in. From there, lifting up into a normal all fours position. Cat stretch the first round. Rounding the back, drawing your chin into your chest, round through the whole back. Inhale, arching the back, lift the chin, looking up. 1 more. Rounding the back, pushing into the hands. Inhale, arching through the whole back. Then finding a straight back, a flat back, just like you did sitting down onto your heels. Tuck your toes under and lifting up. So that we're engaging today through the core, holding your navel in, tucking your tailbone under and holding a straight line. As usual, you can have your knees down if you want to in plank pose, and then lower down to the mat. Place the hands by your sides, palms facing up, wriggle a little bit on the mat, and then lifting up into locust. You want to press the palms of the hands up to the ceiling, shoulder blades tight, so that we strengthen through the back. Holding here, lifting up, and lower down to the mat. Hands by your sides, pushing yourself back up to sitting. This time you tuck your toes under and finding your balance onto your toes. So you're lifting up here, press the knees together, thighs together, hands in front of your heart. Lengthen through the back, coming back to that flat back that we did in last round. Drawing your navel in, holding it high. If you want to work harder, you lift yourself off the heels, so maybe a centimetre or two off the heels, and then lower back down. Coming back up into an all-fours position, rounding the back, cat stretch. This time we're going to do a variation of this. Inhaling, arching the back. Next one, we'll hold the back with a rounded back, holding the chin in. Press the back of the feet into the mat, and then see if the knees can lift off the mat. So it feels like the lift comes from the belly drawing in, so core engaging, and I want us to remember this sensation when later in the class we do a crow and arm balance, so that the lift comes from the core drawing in, belly drawing in, and coming back down. From there, walking forward into your plank pose, finding a straight line again, tucking your belly in. So that's what many of us forget, that we kind of collapse here. It's more like a banana shape, arched in the back, holding it strong, and then lower down to the mat. This time, in locust, we place the hands behind you, intertwining the fingers. Push the knuckles to the back of the room and lifting yourself off. Shoulder blades tight, lifting your chest, stretch the feet to the back. And exhaling down, hands by your sides, pushing into your hands. Tuck your toes under, lifting up into downward facing dog. I'm going to do a variation of downward facing dog with the feet as wide as the mat. You want the big toes and heels touching the edges of the mat. And then once you're there, you sway the hips to one side. So all the weight is into one foot and the hip is leaning over to that side. And swaying over to the left. So you feel a diagonal through your body from the left heel to right fingertips. Over to the other side. Noticing your hips, noticing your outer thighs and inner thighs. Over to the other side. And back to center. Walking the hands back to your feet and finding a forward bend here. The full pose is feet, hands and head down to one line. Often that's quite tight. You can have bent legs, you can have the hands a little further forward. So we never force any position. If that's what your body allows you to do, you work with bent legs. Ultimately the pose is here as flat as you can, but still engaging your Uddiyana Bandha, your stomach lock. From there we turn the feet out a little bit. And squatting down. So you want to squat here. Coming down, so often here that's tight, the heels might be off the floor, you might be tipping forward a little bit. The full pose is here, elbows into the knees and stretching your spine tall, looking up. So you press the elbows into the knees, lifting up. From there, place the hands down to the mat, gripping with the fingertips on the mat, elbows wide so that creates a shelf and the knees on top of your upper arm. So we're going to tip backwards and forwards in a crow. We're not going to balance, we're just tipping backwards and forwards. You engage your core, rounding the back, just like we did in the cat stretch when we lifted the knees off the mat. Lifting here, hips lifted high, looking to the front of your mat. And then rocking back into a squatting position. We'll do that again. Rocking forward, lift your hips high, looking forward. Exhaling down. One more. So see here how high I lift my hips with a rounded back, looking forward. And exhaling down. From there, walking the hands forward. One more time in downward facing dog, feet as wide as the mat. Lifting your hips high. This time we hold it still. Let the neck and the head be in line with your arms. Lift your hips high. Press the sit bones to the back of the room. And then just tiny sways this time, just relaxing around your lower back. From there, walking your hands back to your feet. Again, finding that one line between the feet. Those of you who want to go deeper this time, you tip the head in and walking your hands behind you so that the fingertips are reaching far back behind you. That's only if you want to go deeper in that position. There's even more advanced poses here if you want to, bending the legs, stretching the hands up to the ceiling and eventually binding with the hands behind your back. but that won't be for most of us. For most of us, we're staying here. Then bending the knees, squatting down. This time, we hold the left elbow into the knee and stretching the right hand up. So the left knee is pressing, the left elbow is pressing into the knee and the right hand is stretching up. Or stretching that arm too, if you want to find a diagonal stretch there. Both hands in front of your heart. Right elbow into the knee and lifting the left hand up. Finding a long line between your fingertips and then forward. Then we'll do that rocking backwards and forwards again in crow. I'm going to do that one again. If you have done crow with a teacher, in the presence of a teacher before, then you can hold that for 5. The rest of us are again practicing this rocking motion until that starts feeling really confident, really strong in the arms, that the core is engaging, and down. So those of you holding it, you're holding it a little bit longer. And down. From there we're going to come up to coming up to standing, shaking out a little bit. So from here we're going to grab hold of our block, placing the block between the feet. So just in that position between the feet. I'll turn this way. Big toes and heels around the block and then sitting down in chair pose. So same muscles engaging. We press the knees in, toes in, heels in around the block. Core engaging by drawing your navel back, tailbone long, and then hands in front of your heart. So you can bend quite deep here, leaning forward a little bit and looking forward. So that's your chair pose, Utkatasana. Show you from the front. From there, right foot to the inner thigh, a normal tree pose, Vikrasana, hands up above your head. Reaching high up with the arms, upper arms close to your ears, looking forward. Finding your balance, finding stillness. And then back in chair pose. Again, pressing in around the block. So when you press in with the toes and the heels, notice that the knees can still be parallel, still a space between them. And same thing on the other side. Foot to the inner thigh can be a normal tree pose with the hands in front of your heart or hands up above your head. Up to you. If balance is tricky, sometimes it's easier to keep the hands here. Usually helpful to fix your gaze on something on the wall in front of you. Back in chair pose, this time we'll grab hold of the block and placing it between the knees, bending down. Hands pressing together, leaning forward, draw your lower ribs in. Keep all 10 toes on the mat. Block to the side, placing the right foot on top of the knee, just in that number 4 shape that we had laying down on the mat before, flexing this foot and sitting back. So from the side, that looks like that, sitting back, hands in front of you. If it's too much, you hold the hands here, or holding onto the wall if you need to. Coming back down, block between the knees, sitting down. We should start feeling this in the thighs now. So even though the block is now between the knees, you still want to keep that active feeling in the feet. Block to the side, same thing on the other side, left foot onto the knee and sitting back. Number 4 shape with the legs, and you want to move your sit bones straight behind you rather than out to the side. Back into chair pose, block between the hands this time. So you press flat hands against the block. Once you're there, it could be in front of you if your shoulders are sensitive, or lifting them up so that they're in line with your ears if you can. This round we try a slightly more tricky position. I'll give you 2 options. So either you come down to that squatting position we did in the beginning of the class. So if your knees or hips are sensitive, if balance is tricky, you choose to work on this one. The rest of us can come back to that number 4 shape with the legs again, sitting onto the heels. So you can have a block here by the side. If you need to pause the video here, you can. Just trying to find your balance. And then hands in front of your heart. And then down, coming back up into chair pose, block between the hands, sitting back, leaning forward. Here we often start arching in the back, but we're flat on the back again, holding. And one last one, either coming down here, just squatting down if that's enough for you, or placing the left heel on top of the knee, finding your balance, sit on the heel, looking forward, Finding your balance here. Lift the crown of your head. That's it. And exhaling down. We're going to sit down on the mat. Doing 2 stretches, still with the hips sitting down on the mat. We'll grab hold of the right foot and then move the knee side to side. Just soften the hip, wriggle the leg side to side, and placing that right foot on top of the knee, so not high up on the thigh, just above the knee, and then bending the other leg and leaning back. So here you can walk the hands quite far back behind you, little fingers, maybe even touching the little fingers, the chest and shoulders are open, arching in the back and looking up. So come into abdominal breathing. Notice your right hip. So if you don't feel it, you can move the knee away from you, or you can puff your chest up more. Then stretching the left foot forward again, and moving this right foot up into half lotus. So you want to move the right foot all the way up on top of the thigh. From there to do a bind, you might have the belt around the right foot and the right hand behind you and leaning forward. So that's your full half lotus position. Or you place the foot to the inner thigh and stretching forward. So if your knee or hip is sensitive, this is a much better option. If even that's too strong, you have a block under the knee. So do please always adapt the position to suit where you are or where your body is allowing you to go. From there, we're crossing both legs, easy cross leg position, and walking the hands forward. You want to drop the head down towards the mat, the forehead dropping down. Take 5 deep breaths. Keep it soft in the shoulders, soft around your head. Some of you might be laying flat on the floor, some of you are quite upright. Either is fine. Inhaling, lifting up, walking your hands up. From here we're going to try lifting ourselves off the floor. So I often use my blocks to lift off the floor. So what we'll do is to hug the knees into the chest. That might be enough, just lifting the toes up and down, working on the stomach muscles and hip flexors. Or you try pressing into the floor or into your blocks to lift yourself off the floor. So you don't need blocks there. You can try lifting without blocks, or that could be 2 books. Lifting up. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Left leg lifted. Rocking the leg side to side. Placing the foot on top of the knee. Bending back, again walking your hands back. Hands, fingertips close together, puffing your chest up and looking up. Breathe deep into your chest, down to your stomach, down to your hip. Lifting up, trying half lotus on this side. So you lift the foot from underneath, placing the foot up on top of the thigh, the heel pointing into your stomach. Left hand all the way back behind you. See if you can grab the big toe, otherwise using the belt around the toe, or if that option, just like in a tree pose, Janushisasana, foot to inner thigh was better, then you hold that one. So either way, we're holding for 5. Then lifting up. From there, this time you do either easy cross leg position, walking your hands forward, or if the half lotus was comfortable, then you do your full lotus and moving forward. So we don't attempt full lotus until those half lotus positions are comfortable. Then better to work with an easy cross leg position. Walking your hands up. When we do that little lift again, hands by your sides, either on the floor or onto your blocks or books, lifting yourself off the floor and back down. Well done. So from there, you're going to lay down on the mat. Just for a moment with bent legs and having the feet as wide as the mat and the knees pointing in together. So we've done a lot of outward rotation in the hips. We'll do some inward rotation for our relaxation. So we place the feet as wide as the mat, and the knees either just tipping in a little bit or actually touching in the middle. Let the palms of your hands face up, and then relax your body on the mat. If you're more comfortable in any other relaxation position, that could be straight legs, it could be feet up on a chair, then feel welcome to do that. Take a deep full in breath and exhale, let go. in-breath. Exhale, let go. Today you can count the breaths, counting 1 on the inhale and counting 2 on the exhale. Counting like that all the way up to 10. Finding a natural way of breathing in and out through your nose. Allowing your hips to fully relax, the legs to fully relax. So today we work particularly around the area around your hips. Quite a lot of core strength. So if you ever feel that you've stretched too strongly in around the hips, you do this as a counter pose, tipping in with the knees. Soften your hips, soften your lower back. Keeping this sense of calm in your body, sense of feeling connected to the part that stays still, stays grounded. And then deepen your in-breaths. Hugging your knees into your chest. And from there, rolling yourself up to sitting. So that could be rolling to the side, rolling up to sitting. And we finish a class in easy cross-leg position. Or if lotus position felt comfortable, feel free to take that stronger, most likely kind of deeper position. Hands onto the knees, index fingers and thumbs touching. Wriggle a little bit in the elbows and shoulders. Take a deep full in-breath. Exhale, relax. Soft, calm breathing in and out through your nose. So we're holding the spine upright, the crown of your head lifted, facial muscles relaxed. Keeping this sense of calmness and peace with you. Thank you very much for practicing with me today. Thank you.